Hey, before you watch this thing, hit subscribe, would you? When did you start stand-up?
The first time I did it was a freshman in college, and I didn't start. I did it like 2 or 3 times that year. Third time I bombed.
Where?
A coffee shop an hour and a half away from my college. It was...
Specifically?
And in high school, I moved in 11th grade to like a suburb like 20 minutes away from where I grew up. So I still had those friends. So I'm in this school in 11th grade. I don't know these people. I'm graduating soon. So I just started kind of acting like silly and weird. And then one guy was in anatomy and physiology with me. And everybody in that class, was going to try to be a doctor. And he's like, you're not going to be a doctor. You're going to be a stand-up. And then when I was a freshman in college...
Who said that?
This friend of mine in high school. We don't even keep in touch anymore. But when we went to college like an hour and a half.
Not if he's going to talk to you like that. Fuck this guy.
Yeah, true. But like he hits me up and he goes, hey, there's an open mic. Get 5 minutes of material together. So I did. And in hindsight, it was horrible. But it went really well. In college. We went to freshman year. We go to college.
Okay.
Hour and a half, 2.5 hours away from each other. He hits me on AOL Instant Messenger. That's how old I am. And he's like, yo, there's an open mic near my school. Get 5 minutes of material together. You're going to do it. So I went, like 7 of my friends from college went to watch me. And then that went well. And then that was when I knew.
Did it go well because they were there? Because that can happen.
No, it was actually like a packed crowd, but it's an open mic in Denton, Texas. So it's like, what is the bar?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I'm an Indian kid doing stand-up, which is like a novelty, I think, at the time. This is 2003.
Yeah.
So I think that, and then the jokes were easy, but easy jokes can go well early on.
Mm-hmm.
So I remember, and my wife is so sick of me telling this story.
Were they Indian jokes?
No. There were racial jokes, but they weren't Indian necessarily.
Right.
I addressed me being Indian, but I didn't the jokes weren't about my dad or my mom or whatever.
Yeah.
I didn't even talk about my family back then. I grew up in a house with like a couple alcoholics, and so
we're getting to that. Yeah.
Yeah, I just didn't even. Yeah. So the jokes are just like about race, and I remembered. You have a script when you first start. You just memorize it.
Yeah.
And I remembered at one point they were laughing so hard I couldn't say the next line that I had rehearsed, and I'm freaking out. Like, guys, you're laughing so hard I can't say what I want to say. And then in my head I'm like, oh fuck. Like further back in my mind I'm like, oh, they're laughing so hard I can't even say what I want to say. And at that
point, because you've never done stand-up, you can't even hear your thoughts.
I remembered that thought. I remembered grabbing that thought, being like, this is the coolest thing that's ever happened.
Oh, great. All right, great.
And that was the moment I knew. But I still didn't admit that I wanted to be. You're an Indian kid. Nobody's seen it.
It is funny that where you don't want to come out.
Yeah. Telling people you're a comic is a huge step.
Yes.
What was that like for you? Because your older brother's a stand-up.
Yeah. Grew up around it. That's why I asked, because it's like I'm always curious when people come to it from like Denton, Texas.
Yeah.
Grew up kind of in high school. I'd come up here, and my brother was working the door with Attell.
Crazy.
So I've known Attell since I was a freshman in high school.
Crazy. Yeah, that's so crazy.
And like Romano.
Yeah.
And
Legend.
Louis and like Warren Hutch, like really good. Sarah lost her virginity to my brother.
That's so funny. I forgot that
I know
story.
It's so crazy. I don't even remember until I'm like Marin.
Yeah.
So Jon Stewart. So then I did it when I was 18 once, wasn't good. At the Boston, wasn't good.
Okay, that's
then that's 92. And so it's insane.
Yeah.
Then I do it again in 97. Me and Chappelle sell Half Baked, and I'm like, I'm a writer. I'm a screenwriter. I was writing then. And then as a screenwriter, you're kind of bomb. You're like being told you're not funny all day, kind of. So I was like, I know I'm funny. So then in 2002, I did it again. And then we did Chappelle Show. So it was kind of like, I did it like 40 times, 50 times. And then quit again until 2007. And then I haven't stopped.
Yeah. What was it that made you love it?
Because there's no one can say no. It's the audience can say no and you go, cool.
Yeah.
You don't like, I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah.
Even on the TV show, like if Comedy Central was like, we don't like it, we'd be like, can we show it?
Yeah.
Because then we all have an opinion, but like you're saying your opinion's more valid than our, like, so that was a great thing with stand-up is you just go do it and you can see like, oh, I thought that was funny.
So after 10 years of basically just Everybody's
of
telling
like
you what you can put
going to like glory holes, basically.
Yeah.
And then finally going like, no, this is, and also I thought it was, as a writer, I thought it was like a low impulse to want to do stand up. Like,
Oh, really?
oh, it's so uncivil.
That's so funny.
Which is just a dodge
Yeah.
within yourself to after 15 years to go like, no, I did a joke in blocks about like, every writer was like, you're more of a comedian.
Oh, really?
Which is people's way of saying like, you're kind of aggravating. Like writers are like, hey, you're a little sweaty.
Yeah.
But comedians were like, you're more of a writer. So it just took me a while to like own it.
Yeah.
And just go like, no, and you still have to write.
Yeah.
So it's just, you just don't have to like get it approved by somebody until you do TV.
Was a low impulse thing just I'm scared to, was that the block? Like I'm scared to go up there and get rejected or?
It was a fear of admitting openly wanting attention.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't want to just openly. I'm realizing recently, like a huge block thanks for coming. Thanks for hosting. I have such a hard time just accepting what I'm like. Like, no, I don't know. I like that.
Yeah.
It's all I get like in my head about like, you shouldn't, what does that say about you?
Same.
What kind of a person would be like that? And finally I'm just like, no, this is what I'm like. Yeah. So I'm not even finally. As of 2 days ago, I was like, I still have an incredibly hard time just going like, man, I like that.
Me too. Mine is I still get caught up in what people might think weirdly, which is like, I didn't think I was like that. Now I'm just kind of realizing, I still, moment to moment, I like this or I don't like this. I'll still be like, what will people think on like a deep level that I didn't realize until recently.
I think it's one of the hardest things in life is just like to divorce yourself from like, what does it say about me?
Yes.
What is it? Because it doesn't say anything most of the time.
Yeah.
You can trick yourself into going like, it means you're, okay, so you're immoral about this, or you're whatever it is, or you're just abnormal. You're just not the most common thing, but it's like, yeah, that's what the novelty of
being a person, yeah. And I hate the idea of like, I hate not being open about any immorality because then people think I'm like some pious, like I'm not, I'm just a guy and I should be more honest about like, I like that thing that's weird or I don't like that thing that's weird, but you're just so caught up with, am I going to look stupid if I do that? Am I going to look like an idiot? And it's just, that's a
Tommy Tiernan said on this podcast,
if you're looking to be a well-known entertainer and loved, you're not a real joker. A joker is an archetype that stands outside of the culture and performs some sort of other meaning. He has some other value. He's amoral.
He likes his comedians to be amoral. And when I heard it, I was like,
that's a great
fucking thank you. Like that'll stick with me.
Yeah, that's great.
That's just a great way to be in life. It's like, I don't do immoral things for the most part. But I don't know. I would say most people are just C+ students in terms of morality. So
1,000%.
like accepting that and not breaking most laws.
Yeah.
What else can you hope for?
And that's something I do. I hate in comedy, even if I try to get serious, the idea that I'm morally superior. It's just, I hate when comics do that.
Yeah. There was a lot of that for the last 10 years. And I think like the last 2-3 years has been a blowback to that.
Yeah, like a
correction.
Overcorrection.
Yeah. So then you realize like, how many times?
So I did it. I did that set the first time at that coffee shop. Then my college, I went to a tiny college, 1,200 kids, but they had a stand-up night. So I was like, I'll just do the same set. I didn't even know that was what people did. I thought you were supposed to come up with a new set every time. So I did the same set, felt guilty about it. It went okay.
Yeah.
And then the third time I went back to that old coffee shop with a new set that I thought was going to blow everyone away. And I bombed so fucking hard. I had like 12 people come see me. This girl I had a crush on was there. I get pulled off stage.
You got yanked?
Oh, dude, yeah. Because I'm running time. And then like I say fuck the light or whatever that version of it is.
Yeah.
And then they have to like walk up on stage and be like, hey buddy, you're done. Oh my God, it was so bad. That's happened to me twice. It happened to me there and it happened at, you remember Tripping on Tuesdays in the Comedy Store? Actually, third time, it happened to me in Harlem at Mocha's. You ever do Mocha? Mocha Lounge? I used to only do hood rooms when I moved to New York. And then Like I did really well at first, and then I started trying new stuff and finding my voice, and that was bombing, and I got pulled off there too. 3 times in my career, people have walked up on stage and been like, "Hey, that's enough."
Tripping on
please.
Tuesdays, you got walked off.
Yeah.
Was it the pre-show or the show?
The pre-show? I never made it to the show.
Great.
Yeah, I started in L.A.
Oh wow.
Yeah, because I did it a few times in college. So after I bombed the summer of my freshman year, I didn't get on stage again for like a year and a half. I was devastated. I thought it was over. And then junior year, my roommate was doing stand-up. They asked him to do 20 minutes. And he was like, I don't want to do 20. And I was like, I'll do 10. So I did it, and it went really well. Did it again senior year, went fairly well. And then I was like, when I was applying to medical school, my best friend was moving to LA to be a cinematographer. And I was like, subtly like, I think this could be maybe my chance to try stand-up for a year, because I didn't know you're supposed to start in New York.
Yeah.
And then my mom gave me permission, basically, and so I moved out to LA.
That sounds real Indian.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't.
No, I know it's not.
See, what she said, and I still appreciate this to this day, she said, go, because I would rather you find out even if you can't do it than wonder for the rest of your life.
Yeah,
which is awesome.
Yeah.
And for an Indian.
That's white advice.
Yeah. No, it is. Dude, other Indian parents were like, you're a bad mom for letting him do this.
That's so funny.
What are you doing? Yeah, and now those same Indians are kissing ass, and it's so funny.
They want to get on the guest list.
Yeah.
Okay, so, and then then you just struggle and
bomb. I didn't understand how much you're supposed to get up. I didn't understand like basic things. Like there was nobody. Schultz has done so much for me since moving to New York, but when I first started, there was no like vets taking me under their wing and being like you had the experience of being around all these comics and just seeing how it works and watching. I didn't know. I thought you just go when you have a big show, you perform your one set, and then you work on jokes at home, and they're all good. And you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I bombed in LA at first a few times too, and then I started to understand, you got to get up 5, 6, 7, 8 times a week.
Yeah. And now it's going good.
Yeah, now it's going well, I think.
Hey, did you like that? Did you like that? Yeah, did you like it though? You want more? Don't want to work? Would rather watch videos of me grab-assing with people? First of all, go up here to subscribe, and then go up here to watch more clips. This is like when the weatherman says there's a high pressure system coming in. I'm not really used to the green screen.